Hello and good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Paul Tranny, gonna dive into today's Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. Good to see all you lovely faces, or at least icons out there. Steve's, Beatrice, Carol Purcell. Hey man, update that little avatar, right? So I can compliment you on how good your hair looks or something. I don't know, not to make it weird, but I'm happy you're here. Harem, Valder, Tunk as well. Fantastic. We're going to distort shapes. We're going to distort type. We're really going to get into distorting and transforming. So thanks so much for joining me. Chicago's in the house. Fantastic. All right. Yeah, exactly, Tunk. They are Oddfellows. That's who made the intro. But let me scoot over and let's dive into this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully, if I could just switch over. Boop. There we are. Here we are. So, Daily Creative Challenge. This is day 3, basically, which is all about distorting shapes. Click on that challenge tab. You can go ahead and access the file that we're using today and get involved on Discord, which I have right over here. I was live earlier reviewing some designs. I think this one actually is really cool as I just look at it. Great job, Dark Soul. I'm into this one. That's awesome. I'm into it. All right, so each challenge is different. Had some fun ones from Ahmed, Martin, and then we had Janar. I'm not sure that's what her username is, but her illustration of herself is awesome because it's kind of like Bob's Burgers. Okay, so let's move on. Today's is a little bit different. We're going to transform some basic shapes in a fun way. So you could see this particular illustration. I actually shifted the colors a little bit, by the way, just because I wasn't crazy about the green. So again, I did change the colors a little bit. You could do the same because today is all about kind of not even creating, but taking what is here and distorting it. So that's the goal, okay? Their name is Oddfellows. Yeah, Oddfellows. It's been a while since I asked that. So I'm going to start with text because text was our job yesterday, manipulating text, right? I do come in peace, by the way. I come in peace. And I want to distort this type. So this is the easiest way to do this. And this goes right into what we were talking about yesterday. Selecting this text. Right up here at the top, this happens to be our control bar. If you don't see it, just go to Window down to Control, okay? So this controls whatever's selected. We can see, we can change the type, size, all that fun stuff. But we really want to distort it, and what we're going to do is we're going to click this little button right here, Make Envelope, all right? In fact, to get more specific, we're going to make it with Warp. So we're going to warp this text, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to click that little bendy grid, boop. There we are. We get these warp options, and I can make this arc, upper, bend it lower. You get the idea. Full control over each one of these properties. We could have it arch as well, which keeps it all vertical. Doesn't like adjust the vertical angle of the text. But again, I have full control, and this is how a lot of the, I don't know, like badges are made. We'll use these. By the way, you designers that use Illustrator a lot, you probably use these. I use these top ones, some of these. I've never used fisheye in a million years, but here's fisheye if you want it, right? Or inflate. But again, you could do most things through just selecting one of these options and then controlling it a little bit more. I come in peace. Let's go with that. Let's actually change the text. But what happened? Oh no, up at the top, where did everything go? Oh, we have these additional distortion options for it. Yeah, we can change it to something else. But what happened to my text? Because I decided I want to get rid of this boring Arial font. Well, right over here, we, instead of envelope warping it, this little button, we want to edit the contents, right? Because it put it inside of an envelope. Another thing I could do is also just double click on it. And this is sort of inside of the envelope right there. So all wrapped up in this beautiful little envelope. You could do it either way. I want to edit it within context. So right over here with that selected, notice how this button is pressed, and we'll just change this to something else. I'm going to change it to this Fusaka font because it looks like an alien would speak in that way. I come in peace, right? Yeah, so Jennifer's used flag. Let me know what you've used. Fisheye is ridiculous. I'll tell you what, Eric, fisheye works well if you have a type lockup that makes it look like a box. That's when you get more of the fisheye look, right? But not when it's just all on one line like mine. So this looks pretty good. I come in peace. Text is editable. Should probably say I come in pieces, right? Because he does come in pieces, and that's what we're going to deal with. We're going to deal with this character now as well, okay? So we manipulated text within the first 4 minutes, honestly. Now we're going to manipulate shapes. Ooh, there's a Vulcan font. Perfect. Love it. By the way, how did I find that particular font? So go right over here. Go right up here. Bam. This happens to be a favorited font, but I would usually go into the decorative, right? Go into decorative, select that, select find more, and make sure there's not anything else selected. But I would wait for that to initialize. And now we have all these crazy fonts that are currently not on my my laptop, but I can go ahead and access. So this one, this BD Gemini's would also be good, right? Selecting that one or favoriting it. Actually, I got to download it first. Download it. You get the idea. I covered that yesterday. Let's move on. I want to edit this character, right? He looks like Mike, right? Doesn't he? Warp to top object. Greg, good call. Exactly right. Warp to top objects. Amazing. If this was not a daily creative challenge, like a more advanced challenge, we would totally do that because I'm totally into it. Okay, so I want to actually warp this shape. Now I can use our direct selection tool. You know how to do that. Kind of come in here. I'm like, okay, we'll just kind of bend him, right? Or we'll maybe add some more points, right? Bah. This is what some people will do. They'll add a bunch of points right in here, right? And then they'll like pull one out, and maybe that one's there, and they want to try to make them look kind of spiky or lumpy or more interesting than just a sphere. Well, we don't need to do that. I'm going to undo that, and with this shape selected right here, I'm going to go to Effect, and I'm going to distort with Effects right in here. So we messed with type, distorting, and transforming. We can free distort, pucker, and bloat. Roughen is what I want to do. Just kind of roughen them up in the most pleasant way possible. Clicking right there, this is what we get. We already get them kind of spiky and just it's so much more interesting than just a sphere. And we can start to play with this. So again, here's the detail. We can smooth it out. Now he's super lumpy, and I can take that down some. So again, he's like a little blob now, right? We can go from blob, you ready, to something crazy, yeah, but something with more detail, right? So I'm going to take the detail up, and then I'm going to take the size up, right? This is relative to the size of the object, but I can also go to absolute, and then I can take that up. So now what was previously like pretty chunky, I can make him look like fuzzy, right? Now he's kind of a fuzzy character. I'm into it. Your whole goal is to just have fun. I really want you to take these assets and have fun. I'm going to click OK. Remember, I applied an effect, right? So now I'm going to go over here. We could see in my properties panel, there it is. There is roughen, okay? So I can click on that effect to go in and fine tune it. Maybe make it a little bit longer so everybody can see it on the stream a little bit better, right? That's what I want to do. I want to do the same thing to these like fuzzy little, or make these antennas a little fuzzy. Well, we'll just go up here to the effect and we'll apply that last used effect just like we do in Photoshop. And now we have some fuzzy pom-poms on top. I'm glad you like him. Oh, he is cute. He's pretty cute, huh? He's a cute little guy. I encourage you to play with him all you want, like a Cyclops without ears. So I'm going to select this character. I'm going to show you what happens because I want you to go in here and I want you to play with all these fun things. Pucker and bloat, transform. Maybe I want to tweak it. Let's try tweak, right? We're tweaking it. Look at it, makes it all crazy. And this is why I want to point this out. When you add effects and strokes and all these different things, they all start to stack, nice little stacks in my appearance panel. So I can tweak this. He's crazy now, right? I'll click OK. Now right over here, where did everything go? It says, hey, you know what? We put everything, that's what this little info says, we put everything in the appearance panel because you're adding up lots of things, Paul. You're crazy. But we can see right over here in the appearance panel, sure enough, here's roughen and here's tweak. You ready for this? What if I flip these two, right? Or I could turn one off, for instance. Turn off tweak. Let me turn off roughen. Oh, this is what tweak actually looks like. Tweak is actually much more interesting. Look, make him like a little blob, right? If I added more control points, it would change the shape even more, right? But that's what tweak does, right? I turn that on, it roughens it after it tweaks it. What if I take tweak and bring it up above roughen? It's going to apply it in a different way. So I'm just making you aware of that. You're learning all about effects. I think this is like awesome, by the way. Again, just giving him just a more interesting shape, and that's what I'm doing. All right, cool. Lisa, this is also part of the tutorial you just took yesterday. Cool, that's awesome. So yeah, yesterday actually we did make a logo. Today you can make your logo fuzzy. Honestly, you can make, day one was all about making your own avatar. Well, now you can actually add hair to your avatar if you want to. But again, today's file is all about having fun and making a fun alien. So we have him set up, right? So now, this is what I want to do. I really want to bend him to my will, okay? Now, I want these antennas to just have more character. He just needs to flow a little bit better, right? Well, I can go in and I could use my distortion tools to do that. Or what I can do is I can select this entire alien and group him. Right click group. Now that he's part of one group, what I want to do is I really want to like manipulate him like a puppet. So right over here, we're going to get into using the tools now. Off to the side, underneath the free transform, we're going beyond that. We're going to puppet warp this character. Once I select that, it gives me all of these points automatically, but I can add more. So I can add a point right there. I can add a point and say on this side if I just really want to put this down here. But I can actually also pull all these different parts, and now he's more jelly if you want. Right? So now I could take this, I could pull that antenna over here. I could take this antenna, pull it over this way. And if we take a closer look right over here, it's kind of hard to see, I apologize, but we can rotate it as well. So here I would just rotate it out and it bends it a little bit more if I want to. That's gonna work better for the feet. If I pull out the feet, well, hey, you know what? I actually wanna rotate the feet like that. So maybe he has a little bit wider stance. Taking this one, bringing it up like that, and rotating it just like that. Love Puppet Warp. The great thing about Puppet Warp, Matt and Greg and everyone, is, yeah, I can make him dance now. Awesome, perfect. I can make him dance, but you know what? It doesn't wrap him in another effect. So if I decide I want to go in and edit any of these points, I can go in and edit those individual points like I'm doing right now. So I can make that wider. I have that level of control even after using Puppet Warp in this case. So move that up, make that a little bit thicker. Again, I'm just playing around right now. Let's go beyond this. Whoop. Something got a little wonky there. All right, so let's go beyond this actually. Let me actually go back into this and rotate him like so. There we go. Cool. Done. Done. Here's our character. He comes in peace. Let's move him down. Let's get into more of the specifics, okay? It is a newer version, a newer tool, by the way. let's play with the background and all that as well. So here I have this landscape. Notice how it's locked down. Unlock it. Okay? And for this landscape, I want to select this landscape, and let's lock down the alien layer so I don't accidentally select it, because we're only going to play with the landscape. Selecting all of those, you ready for this? Again, we're distorting with the tools. Zoop. This is probably the hardest thing you need to pay attention to. It's underneath the width tool. So underneath this thick and thin line are a bunch of other warp and distort tools. Somebody mentioned the twirl tool. Might have mentioned you mentioned twirl. There's the twirl effect, and then there's the twirl tool, and there's the warp tool. So I'm going to select warp right over here, and if I double click on the warp tool, I can see the different tool options. It's a pretty large brush. I can always hold down the option key, and the intensity is about 50%. That's fine, right? Let's pull that up. And let's make a fun landscape just by pulling those lines, right? No worries. Not a big deal about manipulating the Bezier points. I can make these wonderful mountains in the background. I want to have them, I want them to have more spikes. I'm going to double click in here. I'm going to crank this up to maybe 100. And let's take this down to 100, like that. And now I can kind of pull this up some more and have some cool spikes as I make this alien landscape. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here, making something kind of fun. As you can see, just having fun with this alien landscape. Cool. I encourage you to do the same thing, and I'm trying to go as fast as possible. Can you tell? All right. Yeah, you could record, make him talk and all. Everybody wants him to talk now. That's cool. All right, alien landscape. It could use a little bit more work, but the cool thing is I could use these warp tools to kind of come in and fine tune this all I want, right? I don't have to grab Bezier points and make my life miserable that way. This makes it fun, in my opinion, right? Okay, so let's kind of mess with this spaceship, actually. I'm gonna go to the spaceship layer. I'm going to grab a yellow. Let's make a sphere. Let's make another sphere. I'm just going to do this really fast. Let's select both of these. Let's use the same tool, the warp tool. Make sure that's cranked up to 100. 100. Why not? Start pulling this down. Pull that down. I'm going to make the brush smaller by holding down the Shift and Alt key. There we are. Let's make this look much smaller, and let's lock down everything else. Just like that. Making it look like this. These are flames, right? Just really cool flames coming off of that spaceship, like so. Cool? Cool. I'm just having fun, guys. Let's take all these, let's group them. Maybe shrink it down. Maybe it's like rotated. I don't know. Just having some fun. Place that over there like that. Okay, so Lisa's, you're referring to Photoshop. I was using a render capability in Photoshop, allowing me to render trees, which I could maybe use in here. All right, so now I'm gonna play with this a little bit more. This gets a little bit more advanced, by the way. How can you add tools that are not in your toolbar? By the way, right down here, click right here. Make sure it's set to default. If you don't see anything in here, just go down right here. This is how you edit your toolbar. This is where you can see the names of everything. But right up here, if you do this little fly out menu, you can say, hey, you know what? Reset. So make sure it's reset, and then you'll find all these tools right behind, again, gotta hide this, the width tool. That's what we're playing with. In fact, we're gonna play with the twirl tool next. For this, again, I'm gonna hurry because I have too much to do. Let's go with this. Let's make some fun space stuff. I'm just adding a couple of circles in the background, kind of like that. Okay, just like that. Let's select both of these. Let's use the twirl tool. I'll double click inside of there. I'm going to make this really large, 500 again. I'm going to take the intensity down to 50. And it's just something you're going to have to play with, but that's why we're here. We're here to have fun. And now I can start to make all these fun swirls with those circles, right? Again, swirl, swirl, swirl. I'm just making some cool space type stuff is all I'm doing. Decreasing the size of the brush if I want to. Make it smaller. Add a little swirl right over here. You get the idea. Space, swirls, pretty easy. And yeah, and fun to do. That's looking okay, right? I did change some of the colors. Tomorrow we're going to get into colors. But kind of like I'm tempted to now, so I guess this is kind of getting into what I deal with tomorrow. But let's just change that like so. Maybe make this a little bit darker. There we go. Just kind of want something like that, okay? That looks a little better. So, yeah, make a fun scene, go nuts. This is okay, you know, it's like all right. I made an earlier version. Use all these tools, so distort text, use Puppet Warp, the warp tools, use the warp effects. Export this out once it's done, by the way. Export, boom. I usually do save for web and show me what you create. Here's one I created earlier, and now we have, you know, we come in peace, which is kind of fun if you ask me. Here they are behind, a little bit larger, basically. Yeah, just having fun with all these characters and the things we've learned so far. Yeah, so Lisa, the paths that are being created can be changed by, there we go. They can be changed, like for this one, if I select this, just so you can see how this is made, I'll pull out the appearance panel. All I did to make them look a little bit lumpy is I used mainly Tweak. Tweak just distorts it a little bit. But if I go in there and use the direct selection tool, I can add another point, and it's going to distort it that point as well, like almost even more, right? So you can get some pretty crazy stuff, but yes, you're always gonna have the ability to edit this content even after it's done. And now he looks like a giant melted cherry or something weird. It's weird, but yeah, fantastic. Have fun, create fuzzy characters, create whatever you want. They're all starting to look like vegetables now to me. I don't know why, like cherries and oranges. I got an orange over there, right? But I must be getting hungry or something. So fantastic. Again, these swirls, we're really gonna get into color tomorrow. Gradients, patterns, all sorts of cool things. So we'll really be able to blow this out even more tomorrow. Does After Effects, no, sorry, Tunk, doesn't recognize the rigging that you've done in Illustrator, just so you know. But we can always go in and it will remember it in Illustrator, but if I bring it into After Effects, it's not going to remember the rigging. So you just gotta kind of add those. I have some weird fruit. Got some weird fruit up in here. So thanks so much, everyone. I'm just answering any questions. And again, just your big goal is to kind of jump in and play with this all you want. And feel free, I'd encourage you to even make more characters. Once you have one done, oftentimes I'll just take it and I'll duplicate it. So here's character number 2. For character number 2, I would play with the appearance. And again, go into roughen, take this all the way down. And now we have just a different look on this character with different colors as well, like so. Okay, there's the second one. You get the idea. Cool. The most underused transform tool, Greg, in my opinion, are these tools because they're hidden. So that's why I'm glad you guys are here with me today. I think it's all these tools. These are the most underused tools. Ugh, if I can only press. Come on. Oh, there we go. I double clicked. People will use them once and they don't realize that they have additional settings. So just double click on that tool and you have all these additional properties. But yeah, I don't think people use them enough. So Fantastic, everyone. Have a beautiful day. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We have Julia Masalska up next, and she's going to dive into branding identity. I think they're doing something health or maybe skincare related. I don't know. These guys look like they have... He follows a little bit better skincare regimen. He's a little lumpy. He could use some lotion, right? But you get the idea. This did go by so fast, and that's why I'm so happy that this is recorded. You could always watch it later. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Stick around for Julia. She's fantastic. And I will join you guys tomorrow. So thanks so much, everyone.